everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to install Super ATV's 30-inch straight light bar and light bar mounts on this Polaris RZR Turbo. So the first thing that we're going to do, remove the hood from the machine. And we'll just sit it aside. And we're going to come right in here and we're going to locate our power source. We're going to need a keyed on source as well as a ground. The first thing I like to do is go ahead, grab our harness here and unplug the rocker switch from the harness, just like that. We'll sit it aside. And the only thing we're going to stick through the firewall is going to be these two wires right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the machine and we're going to go up underneath the dash and we're going to locate our grommet. So once we've got our wires ran through our grommet, and every machine's going to have that grommet right there, all you need to do is just take a razor knife and open it up a little bit if you haven't already, if you don't have any accessories installed to your machine. We do, so ours is already opened up. We're going to go over here to the far left stud. We're going to go ahead and remove our nut. We'll sit it right here out of the way. Remove the center nut. So once we have that one removed, we're going to grab our keyed on hot wire. We're just going to take it all the way over here to this far left post, then we'll have our ground wire. We're just going to put it right there on the center post. So once we have our nuts started, we're just going to go ahead and fully tighten both the nuts here. So now we're at the inside of the machine. We're going to remove these two push pins right here. That way we can gain access to the back of the dash. Now this is a 2019 model, so on anything 18 and below, there's going to be two screws, one that's going to be right here and then one right across from it. You'd have to remove those two screws in order to pop your dash back. But like I said, this is a 19, so it's not necessary to do that with this installation. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our wire that attaches to our rocker switch. We're going to feed it right up, back and behind the dash. Then we'll reach in here and we'll pop out one of our rocker switch covers. Now again, this is a 2019, so it does have these covers. If your machine doesn't have a cover, it just has an outline of a rocker switch hole. You'll just need to take a razor knife and cut it to fit. So then what I like to do is I like to get on my slack for the rocker switch only, because we're going to have to run our wires for our light bar so we can plug it in. So we've got our slack pulled up here for our rocker switch. So what we'll go ahead and do, take the rocker switch, plug it into the harness, and we're going to pull all the excess up. As we're going, we're just going to kind of loop it together. Then we'll take our rocker switch, we'll pop it right into place here. We'll go ahead and throw a zip tie around this wiring just to kind of hold it together. It looks like we may have to do a little bit of trimming in order to get our rocker switch to fit. Just kind of trim the top just a little bit. Do the same for the bottom. And the less you trim off, the better. You don't want to trim a whole bunch off because then your rocker switch isn't going to seat properly. So, see right there? That's all it took, was just a little bit. Now our rocker switch is in there, it's secured, it's nice and tight. We're not going to have to worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this hanging for the time being because we're not done yet. We're still going to have to run our wire for our light bar. This is going to connect to the light bar harness that's actually on the light bar. So we need to figure out how we want to run it. You know, you can run it up through here behind your cage, or you can actually run it up into the cage and then run it all the way out to here. There's all kinds of options. Sometimes with these newer models, I've noticed it gets pretty tight where the connections are. So you actually have to take a screw out of the side of the dash, kind of lift the dash up a little bit, run your wiring up underneath the dash right here in the corner, and then make your connection up underneath of it. And that seems to work out pretty well on the newer ones. Like I said, we are working on a 19 today, so it's just a little bit different than it would be for an 18 and below RZR Turbo, RZR 1000, 900, etc. So What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get our light bar mounted up now. So we've got our clamps here. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and remove the hardware out of the clamp. And we're gonna take our foam provided with the brackets. We're gonna go ahead and put this on the inside of this clamp. Then we'll kind of work it all the way around. You can just tear it off. It tears pretty easily. Then on this bracket, on the curved side that's gonna go up against the cage, we wanna lay a piece right here. Again, just grab it, tear it off. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that this side that has the cutout on it is going towards the back of the machine, because that's where our nut is actually gonna go. We're just gonna place them onto the cage. So we're gonna take this other clamp, we're gonna do the exact same thing with it. We're gonna get it prepped and get it laid up there. Put it right there, tear it off. Take your little piece, put it on this same spot as we did on the other clamp. We wanna make sure that our flats are on the same side, so we have them going towards the rear. What I like to do just to make it a little bit easier is just get a pair of pliers, grab a hold of these clamps, just kind of bend them back to their original state, because whenever you put them on the cage, it actually expands them out. So then we're gonna take our bracket that goes with it. We'll just slide it right into place. We'll take one of our long screws, make sure that we put the screw head on the flat side, like we were talking about. And you wanna make sure you put the nut on the side with the curved portion on it. Then you wanna grab your provided Allen wrench that's in the kit and your nut, and you'll just take the nut and you'll sit it right down in the groove here on this bracket. Then once you get your nut and everything started, you just wanna rotate it around. You don't wanna fully tighten it just yet. And we'll do the same exact thing for this other bracket. So now we're gonna rotate our clamp so that the threads are facing away from the machine. We're gonna grab this bracket, our Allen headed screws provided in the kit. We're gonna lay our bracket up here just like this. We'll just wanna get these hand tight until we get our light bar in place. Then we'll repeat the same exact steps for the opposite side. So now we're gonna grab our bolts as well as our lock washer, and we're gonna put our light bar into place. You can do this by yourself, but obviously it's gonna be easier if you do have somebody to help you. You're gonna wanna keep this light bar held up as you walk to the other side of the machine. Then we'll just wanna go ahead and get our bolts started on this opposite side as well. Once we have all our bolts started, we'll go through and we'll start making our adjustments. We're definitely gonna have to angle it up, and it looks like we need to take our mounts up a little bit on both sides. Like to get it nice and tight to the bracket first. You know, get your light bar sitting pretty straight. We can come back and make some final adjustments later. And we'll do the same thing over here for this side. We'll go ahead and get our harness pulled out of the way. Now that we have that tight, we'll go through with our Allen wrench and tighten up our bracket. You want to make sure your clamps are loose whenever you do this, because it'll actually center your clamps up where they need to be. With these clamps, you'll just want to tighten them up until the nut acts like it wants to spin, and that's when you need to quit. If you tighten it up past that, it's going to strip out. It's going to be hard to get it back off. So we'll just repeat the same steps for the opposite side over here. Now our light bar is all in position and fully tightened. We just want to look at it, make sure it's exactly how we want it. Looks like it's sitting good and straight. Now we need to make our wiring connection. As I was talking earlier, I said you could pop the dash up a little bit and run your plug up underneath of there. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do this, lifting the dash up enough that we can run our harness up underneath. We're going to get our harness, we're going to run it up underneath the dash. I like to go up and over top the power steering unit on the back side of it, around it. Here's the wire we're going to want to make our connection with. What we're going to do is we're going to feed it up to the top here, just like this. Plug it in, we'll make that connection. And we'll feed our wires back down into the cab of the machine. And we'll go ahead and reinstall this screw right here. And you don't want to tighten this screw super tight now that we have our wire in there. You just want to tighten it up enough so it's good and tight. Now what we need to do is go up underneath the dash and tidy up our wiring a little bit. So here's all of our excess. We're just going to grab it, get it together, and take a zip tie. And what I like to do is run it back up and behind the fuse panel. And we'll take another zip tie, run it over top of the frame. You want to cut your zip tie off. Then we'll head over here to our wire for the light bar, and we'll just zip tie it to the cage as well. We're just going to finish tidying up all our wiring. Let's cut off the excess. Now when you look back in here, you can tell there's something wired up, but wires aren't everywhere. It looks pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and reinstall this center piece here, a little storage compartment. We'll grab our push pins, pop them back into place. And we're going to grab our hood, reinstall it, make sure our hood's on there. And we're going to reach inside the machine, and we're going to turn the key on to accessory mode, turn our light bar on, make sure it works. Looks like it works good. And just go through, double check all your wiring, make sure everything's how you want it. Now you're ready to light up the trail with your new Super ATV 30-inch straight light bar. For more information on this light bar or any of Super ATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.